Well, I'm going to be working out on the elliptical machine today. My specialized is in the shop still from yesterday, and while I have a backup bicycle, my Genesis mountain bike, I haven't been on the elliptical for a few days, and I just kind of think it'd be a good idea to get in some time on it as well. So I'm going to use this opportunity to get in about 45 or 50 minutes of elliptical work. Well, I finished just 50 minutes on the elliptical today. I used one of the preset programs for 20 minutes on it, and just so for an intensity, it kind of raises the incline and the resistance. And then the last of it, I just let it kind of freewheel. What's that? No, zero incline and resistance level number one. It's kind of what I did with that. I did something else a little bit different on my podcast yesterday. I listened to one of the bicycle podcasts, and they were talking about different kind of chain lubricants. And one of the things that they said about, they were talking about WD-40, the reason why it doesn't work very well is even though it does lubricate, it can act as a lubricant, it's not very long term. It doesn't last long. This guy was saying, that using certain types of chain lubricants, he can go 200 miles without relubing. But WD-40 said about 30 miles, and it feels like he needs to relube before the chain starts to make sound. So anyway, I've been using WD-40 to clean and lubricate the tracks on this elliptical for the last little bit, and it ends up where I have to do it about every 10 or 15 minutes. So what I did today instead is I've got some, I call it axle grease. It's just a really heavy duty lubricant, and I put that on the rollers and then wiped it down so it was very, very, very thin, almost like I wiped it completely off. And then I was able to go the whole 50 minutes without having to lubricate it the whole time I rode. So tried that out. I also listened to one of the things I like about using elliptical is I get to listen to these Yale Open Study courses, and today's was again the Middle Ages with the professor is Paul Freedman. He's talking about the Frankish Society. He talked about things that hold a society together, and basically he gave three different things that can hold people together, unify them into a society. And one would be a loyalty to a leader, to a king, or to a nationality. They didn't have that in those days. It was more you're afraid of your king. Or two would be loyalty to money, which was what really kings were able to use in those days for fear, but also money. A king wouldn't be able to keep an army together, wouldn't be able to fund an army with taxes or anything. The only way he could fund them and get them to go to fight with him is to promise them the plunder, the loot from winning. And if for whatever reason he decided he didn't want to go into a battle, they would often threaten to depose him, kill him and depose him, get a new one, if because they wanted to go into battle. It was the only way they could get paid for what they were doing. And then the third one was the church. And of course, the church that he's talking about was the Catholic Church. And I don't believe that that's the church that Jesus started. But I do agree, spirituality is the best, the strongest bond that a person can have. It's stronger than any kind of nationality or patriotism or leadership. A loyalty to the Lord Jesus Christ and to the teachings of Christ, that's the best way to go.